Alright, this lesson is going to be about the Follow Me tool. I know in the last tutorial on the cabinet we talked about how the Follow Me tool can be used to trim off the edges in a uniform way. What I want to do with this tutorial is show you how you can use the Follow Me tool to make some really neat advanced shapes, things that SketchUp kind of struggles with because it doesn't really do curved shapes very well, so you have to kind of use different tools to create curved shapes. So to begin with, I'm going to start by just drawing a circle. Just for your own understanding, this is in centimeters. So if you go to Window, Model Info, you can go to your units, and again I'm in decimal centimeters, so just to make it easier to follow. So first of all, let's say I want to make like a water pipe. I had a project. Notice that it's 25 centimeters. I'm just going to make it that. Oops, 25 centimeters. So let's say I want to make like a water pipe that flows up and over and around a room. I actually had a project last year where a student was doing that. He needed to try to build something that had a water pipe that flowed from one room to another. So we kind of figured out how to do it by using the Follow Me tool. So let's just imagine that this 25 radius circle here is going to be the water pipe that flows up and around. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to my pencil, and if I just kind of hover over the center or hover over the circle, it'll usually find the center. If that doesn't work, then you can draw a line from the end point straight across to the other, and then you can find the center point that way. But here you see I found the center. I'm just going to click on it, and notice that the line coming up is blue right now. That's because it's following the blue axis. If I want to keep it on that blue axis, I can hit the up arrow key and it locks it to that blue axis. So let's just say I want to go up a little bit. Let's say I want to go over on the red, back down on the blue. Let's say I want to come on the green. I can press my left arrow and it comes on the green axis, and back over on the red, back on the green, and then back up to the blue. It doesn't really matter. I do want you to make any kind of pattern here using your pencil from that circle. Notice that I just made any shape. It doesn't really matter what it looks like. Because what we're going to do is we're going to use the Follow Me tool to make this behave kind of like a water pipe. So the first thing I want to do is select this entire blue line. This is what we're going to follow. So if I triple click on that one line, notice that the whole thing turns blue. That will make it so that'll be the path we follow. If I come back over here to my tools now, and I go to the Follow Me tool, because I already pre-selected this, it's going to follow that. I just have to tell it I want this circle to follow that path. So I click on that circle, and notice that now we have this kind of neat looking water pipe or whatever we want it to be. Again, it's just kind of a nice way to get SketchUp to do things that it would ordinarily kind of struggle with. I can get even fancier with this. Let's say I don't actually want these really sharp 90-degree angles. If I wanted to make it something that was a little bit easier to follow. So instead of a 90-degree angle, let's say I wanted to just make it smoother. I could come back through here and use some of the other tools we've learned about, such as the 2-point arc. If I come here to 2-point arc, I can just click on this, and it works best if I find where it's tangent. Again, when it turns pink, you can see that that's creating this curved line through here. So again, I can do that where it's pink and tangent. That means it isn't crossing over in a weird way. And again, I can just make my line kind of do whatever I want it to do. So I'm going to come back up on the blue axis here. Oops. Again, it doesn't really matter where you do this. Just kind of showing you how. If we then come through here, we can delete the lines we don't need. Notice I'm clicking on these lines here we don't need. And the reason I'm doing this is just to show you that if you get more specific using the two-point arc system, you can really make nice curved edges that then, when I select my entire line, so I triple click on it to make that line blue, and I come up here to Tools, Follow Me, and then I click the circle, it's going to follow this in a nice smooth arc. So again, this is how you can make more kind of elaborate curved shapes if you're trying to do anything that is involving curves. The Follow Me tool is kind of the way to do that. We can get even fancier with this. So the Follow Me tool works really well for doing, like I said, any kind of piping or stuff like that. But it's a good way to make any kind of curved shape. For example, if I wanted to create a sphere. So actually, before I create a sphere, I'm just going to draw a rectangle real quick, because this will kind of serve as a guide for us. So, notice that when I come back over here and I say circle, if I want to make a circle, notice how it always defaults to the blue circle. That means it's going to draw it flat on the ground, which is good if we want it to be flat, but if I want it to be a vertical circle, it doesn't do that unless I have a square here. Notice that it changes with each face that it's on. So let's just make a circle. Again, I'm going to make this 25 centimeters just to keep it simple. And then what I want to do is make another circle, this time kind of running perpendicular to this circle. So if I come over to this grid, or this box over here, I want to make a green circle now. I want it to be on that axis. So if I just hold down Shift right now, notice how it stays on that green axis. So I'm going to come back over here and I need to find the center point. Notice how I just kind of left it on this edge for a second and then it kind of tracks me to the center. Oops, if I let go of Shift, so I'm going to try that again. But now it's found the center, so I'm going to click once. And again, I made this 25 centimeters, so I'm going to do the other one 25 centimeters. And now notice how I have two circles that are from the same center point, kind of just running perpendicular to each other. So if I want to make a sphere, I'm going to just use the Follow Me tool once again. I click on this face first, because this is the face that I want to follow. I want it to spin around here. And then if I say Tools, Follow Me, and then I click on this face now, it's going to automatically turn that face around the circle that I pre-selected, and now we have this nice perfect orb, or this nice perfect orb, this perfect sphere. I can make it a group so that now it's easy to move around. I don't have to worry about it getting distorted. And what you see here is I actually pulled this off that first circle that I made. That was just kind of left over on the inside of it, which I'm going to keep because I'm going to do some other stuff with it too. But you can see how by using the Follow Me tool we can start playing with this a little bit. Looks like the edges are already fairly smooth. I could soften the edges if I wanted to. These are already very soft. Like, notice when I come to the left it makes it more grid-like. When I go to the right it makes it much smoother. That's how you can soften the edges, make it look extra smooth. And if I want to resize this is actually a good time to show you this other tool we have. Some of you have figured out already, you can use the Scale tool. So I click on that. This works just like a photo and any other kind of document. It lets you scale it bigger or smaller. If you want to make baseball, basketball, earth, whatever you're trying to make. So you can use the Scale tool to change it. You can make it more like an egg. You can make it more like a disc. So that just kind of gives you some more options for what you can do with it. Now I'm going to show you one last thing where, again, it's hard. SketchUp struggles trying to do kind of more elaborate curved shapes. But again, we can kind of cheat the system by using the follow me tool. And you can use this almost like a potter's wheel, like you're going to use it to spin around the disc or spin around the circle to kind of create shapes that would be kind of hard to draw. So once again, go back to your circle here. I want to find the center, and I'm just going to draw a line straight up. So I'm going to press the up arrow, it locks it to that blue axis, and I'm just going to give myself some more space here. So I'm going to come up on this a little bit, and then what I'm going to use is coming off of this circle where I just made a straight line coming up, I'm going to come over here to not the circle tool but the rectangle tool, and I'm just going to make almost like a flag running down this. So I clicked first at the top, I run down, and hopefully I'm having a hard time getting it to stay on this red axis, so notice what I'm just going to do is, if you look at the bottom corner, it's 0,85 centimeters. I'm just going to type in 25,85, and that will create this nice little banner here, this flag for me. So sometimes it'll just go where you want it to, sometimes you have to tell it where to go. Alright, so I have this nice kind of banner that is coming off of this circle. If I wanted to make that bigger, I could just grab this edge. Oops. Grab this edge. I could make that bigger if I want to. Doesn't really matter too much. Once again, I'm just going to use this to kind of draw the profile of a shape, and then we'll spin it by using the follow me tool, and it'll make the shape we're trying to make. So let's imagine you want to try to make a glass or a mug, so kind of like a fancy looking champagne flute or a fancy looking wine glass or something like that. To draw that would be really difficult, to make like a nice looking glass like that. So what would be the easiest thing to do is to just draw the profile of what that might look like. So I can use the pencil again. If I come over here, I want to draw on this face, so I can use my pencil to just draw what I want that to look like. And I'm just going to draw it fairly quickly, so I'm not getting too detailed with it. You could get as detailed as you really wanted to, including like how much curves you want. You could use the 2-point arc to change the curves. You can move things around to get it to where you like it much more. Once again, I'm just kind of trying to come through here and work somewhat quickly. So notice that I've made this face through here. A different profile than what was kind of already there, obviously. And like I said, if I wanted to, I could get very elaborate and actually moving these points around. So let's say I want to bring this corner in a little bit. I could start playing with that, trying to make it more narrow or moving it piece by piece. Oops. You have to highlight the thing you want to move first, obviously. So let's say I want to move whatever it is that I'm trying to do. Oops. You get the idea. So again, I have this profile, so again I'm going to delete what's left around it. And I actually don't really like the way this looks already with this giant piece sticking out here. So I'm going to crop off a little bit of this, just like that. I'm going to get rid of the stuff we don't need down here. And what you'll have is the profile of like a glass or whatever you wanted it to be. So again, what I want to do is pre-select this circle because that's what we're going to follow. I come up here to Tools, Follow Me, and I just click this face, and it automatically spins it around that face to create this shape. Again, I can just select this, click on it 3 times, I can make it a group. That way it's protected. That way I can just kind of move it away from that kind of original piece there. And like I said, I can use the scaling tool to really kind of play with this, change the way that I want it to look. I can make it taller. I can go into it. So notice right now I can go in. I should be able to use the push-pull because this is flat. And I can even make that taller. Looks like it's already pretty well softened. Oh, there we go. So I made it even softer. So I can smoothen those angles there. Now this looks way too small. It looks like the glass would tip over, but you could resize it, replay with it. If we wanted to paint it, let's just make it a nice clear color. So you can start playing with these things and really start making some more detailed and elaborate stuff. This is what I'd like you to do for this tutorial, is I just want you to show me evidence of you being able to do this. So I do want you to use that pencil tool where you make just an elaborate kind of Mario Brothers style piping and make it follow. So you'll make a pipe, make a sphere, or what you could do as well is just make an orb, or not an orb, you could make like a dome, or you could make a bowl, but you would do that the same way that I showed you by making a circle flat on the ground and then another circle coming over it. Or I would also like you to make some kind of shape using like a line coming off the center with like a banner. You can make, like I said, a glass, a mug, a bowl, a dome, whatever it is. But I want you to show evidence of having done both of these things. Again, this is a really useful tool, and I want to make sure you know how to do it. So, sorry for the somewhat long video, but I would like you to demonstrate those skills. Thank you.